Good morning. My 9:30 appointment was rescheduled, so I want to take a few minutes to go over the case of the week with you all that I did not get to do on Monday or Tuesday because of how booked my schedule is. I'm going to spend some time with you all this morning because next week is another travel week for me. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in. Let's talk about Leon, child. Let me see what his name is. This man. Woo, honey. Leon wasn't no joke. Leon was the business. I got the wrong. Okay. Good morning. Come on in. Let's talk about the indictment of the week. This I'm gonna talk about discuss the indictment, but this person was actually convicted and sentenced. So we have a full case to discuss this morning. Come on in. Let's talk about the indictment of the week. And I did want to show y'all some of his charges. So let me get that pulled up while y'all tune in. Come on in. Come on in. Share this live, please. Excuse me. Share the live if you are a tax preparer or if you know a tax preparer or know a promoter that did these ERC claims. They really need to be on here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's talk about Leon Hayes. And this is public records. That's the only reason why I am sharing all this information. Add that one first. Good morning. Come on in. Good morning. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Let's talk about the indictment of the week. Big shout out to all the tax professionals that completed another successful tax season. Praise God that I don't have to ever complete another tax return. And I can say ever because God has already told me, baby, that season is over for you. So I haven't prepared taxes. Oh, I think it's been 5 years now. Is it 5 years? I think it's been 5 years. And I love it. I absolutely love being an enrolled agent. I absolutely love working payroll cases. I love working audit cases. And I praise God every day that I don't have to deal with tax preparation anymore. Thank you, Lord, because my patience and my nerves is not set up for that anymore. Especially for ungrateful people. There are a lot of ungrateful people out there that expect you to work a miracle um, in tax preparation. So, good morning. If you are new here, my name is Melinda Tolbert. I specialize in helping business owners with payroll tax issues. I help them stop from going to prison. If you've been following me, then you already know I don't just talk about taxes. I talk about what happens when things go wrong in the fraud world and in the tax world. And clearly, I need to be talking about healthcare fraud too, because I've been living under a rock. I had no idea how bad and how serious healthcare fraud is. So I am going to implement healthcare fraud with my indictments. Tax preparers, business owners, and wealthy individuals think they figured out how to beat the IRS. They inflate numbers. They inflate deductions. They create fake businesses, which is what we're going to talk about today. And they manipulate credits and refunds. And for a while, it works. But of course, the IRS stopped them in their tracks. They start building criminal cases. Bank records get subpoenaed. Investigators start interviewing clients. Federal prosecutors step in, and eventually someone gets indicted. And that is exactly what happened on this case that we're about to discuss today. This is the largest COVID ERC tax fraud conviction in the country so far. And the government made it clear. They put so far in a few different places when I was doing my research on this case. So I think they got some more cases stewing that's gonna receive a lot of time too. This isn't a small case, as you can see, and this isn't somebody who made a mistake on a tax return. This is a tax preparer who just got 144 months in federal prison. I probably commit suicide. Listen, y'all know how I am about that jail time. I am not about that life. Okay, 144 months. That's 12 years. I had to calculate that. I had to use my calculator. I was like, God damn, that's 12 years, not 12 months, 12 years. On top of that, he got to pay back $55 million to the Internal Revenue Service. So if anybody thinks ERC is a game, y'all need to keep listening and share this. Please share this live, especially if you know people that received the ERC. If they were a promoter of the ERC, they need to hear about this case, because I think the government is making examples out of tax preparers and promoters that was abusing the ERC. So let's talk about the case. I'm gonna give you an overview. His name was Leon Hayes, as you can see on the screen. Let me pull this up for you a little bit more so you can see it. Take my face out. Well, that didn't do any better. But anyway, the United States versus Leon Hayes. His counts 1 through 55 was false tax returns. Counts 56 through 59, mail fraud. And I'm going to break down these charges for you and let you know what each one of them mean. Count 60 was aggravated identity theft. Count 61 was mail fraud. Count 62 through 63 was tax evasion. Now, let's dive into the actual case. And I'm going to give you a high-level overview of the indictment as well. So Leon Hayes, of course, he's a tax preparer out of New Jersey. From 2020 through 2023, during the COVID time, he ran what I'm going to call a full-blown operation. Like, this ERC case kind of reminds me of a PPP loan case that was like, there were some masterminds, and we have to talk about that case. I'm not going to spill the beans yet, but some of the people that were on that case, they've already served their prison time and they're out. I'm going to see if I can get some of them to come in to actually talk about that case. If they don't want to come in, that's cool. I'm still talk about it, but it would be great to get them in to discuss the case with me, since they're all out of prison. Most of them are out of prison. The mastermind is still in prison. Mr. Leon filed over 1,600 fraudulent payroll tax returns, but the trial evidence said that they showed that 1,900 tax returns were filed. He tried to pull over $170 million out of the IRS. Of course, they didn't pay out all of that, but they still paid out a lot. They paid out $55 million. That's a lot of damn money. It's like, at what point do y'all realize that y'all are paying out all this money for businesses that don't even exist? Let me pause right there. So that means the IRS cut checks because these ERC funds, they were not deposited in bank accounts. They were mailed. They were real checks that the IRS cut and they mailed. So they cut and mailed $55 million worth of checks before they caught it. So when people say, well, the IRS approved it, like that's just crazy as hell. Yeah, they approved it, but baby, that don't mean that it was right. And that don't mean that they ain't coming back, circling the block, trying to get their money back, which is what they're doing now. The government is doing what all broke people do. They are circling the block to everybody that owe them money and they try to collect their funds. Okay. They want their coins back. All right. So this was a fake employee and fake payroll scheme. Leon was claiming businesses uh, had employees that didn't exist. So the returns that he were claiming, the returns that he were filing, he created fake businesses and he created fake employees for those businesses. No payroll, no staff, no real wages. But on paper, these businesses had full payroll. Leon said, you get an employee, you get an employee, you get an employee. Baby, Leon was doing, he was doing the business for real. Now, you cannot claim payroll credits without payroll. So that's kind of like saying you went to the gym and you didn't leave the house. Okay. He also was inflated and double dipping credits. And that's like, to me, that's sloppy. And it might not be sloppy for a criminal, but if you're gonna try to play the game, you at least need to know the rules to the game. Okay. And Leon clearly didn't know the rules, or maybe he did. He just didn't give a damn. He was just like people being in the store throwing it in the bag. He was just throwing it on the tax returns. He was stacking credits. And what I mean by that is he was using the same wages for ERC and sick leave and anything else that he can throw in there. So like that's not strategy. It's either sloppy or is he just didn't care at all. He charged the clients a percentage of the refund. So the bigger the refund, the bigger his cut was. So of course he gonna max it out. Of course he's gonna throw all the credits that he can throw on the tax return because he wanted to get paid too. But for the clients, that should have been a red flag. But I don't know why, like it should not be that serious for people to scam all this money. Like I ain't doing it. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. If somebody is excited about how big your refund is, if they're more excited than you are, that should raise some red flags for you. Like that should make you want to ask a few more questions. So let me see how many people we got tuned in. How many of y'all think that I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. Let me get back to my notes. Leon made over $1.8 million. Okay. And he didn't report it. Now, if you've been following me, you already know, and I share this with you all, the IRS don't give a damn where you get your money from. They don't care if it's legal or illegal. They want their cut. So even if you are prostituting, if you are selling drugs, if you're running a gambling house, if you got a tax fraud scheme like this, they don't give a damn. They want you to file taxes and they want you to report your illegal income and they want you to pay taxes on that illegal income because they want their cut. So not only did he make over $1.8 million and didn't report it for the clients, he grossed over a million. Well, he didn't gross, he made over $1 million for himself. So he filed fake payroll tax returns for himself as well. And I'll show you those returns in a minute. So Leon is, oh no, Leon, you started getting a little sloppy, Leon, or either greedy. So he filed businesses let me show y'all his checks. This is a screenshot of his fake businesses. I don't know if Leon's tax service was ever a legitimate tax service, but he filed returns for Leon Tax Services, as you can see on the screen. By the way, if you are a client of, or if you were a client of Leon's Tax Service and you are under audit right now and you need somebody to represent you for the ERC audit, please call me. I had to put my little plug in there. He filed returns for CNL Rentals. I don't know if that's some type of car rental service. He got over 1 point, how much it said? He personally received over 1.4 billion from filings from his own illegal businesses. That's in addition to the 1.8 million that he made from filing fraudulent returns for other clients. Look at these checks, y'all. The amounts that you see over in this column right here, in this last column, these are the check amounts that the government sent him. And these aren't all of them. This is just a little snippet of the payouts that he received. That's insane. Like at some point, I don't know. I can't think like a criminal because I'm afraid of prison. But at some point, you got to look at that check and say, this might be a bad idea. Like, this is too damn easy. Clearly, Leon never had that moment because he was running it up. And the crazy part about it is, after he met with investigators, he still continued doing this shit. He did not stop. That did not stop him. This is insane. And that's just greed. All right, let's talk about the charges. Let me see. I got 5 more minutes. Let's talk about the charges. So the counts 1 through 55. Let me put the counts back up, the charges back up. Counts 1 through 55 was aiding and assisting in preparation of false tax returns. So that basically means that you helped prepare or you filed a false tax return that you knew was false. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an oversight. You knew it was wrong and you filed it anyway. Out of all of those counts, he was only convicted on 15 counts of this. That means 15 separate returns the government proved were fraudulent. That's what he was convicted on. Counts 56 to 59 was mail fraud. So mail fraud, it might sound simple, but mail fraud is serious. Mail fraud is serious and is very powerful. If the IRS mails you a check and that check is tied to fraud, you just committed mail fraud. So anytime you see someone with mail fraud, it's because they received something fraudulent in the mail. And he was only convicted of 1 count of mail fraud. Tax evasion. He had 2 counts of tax evasion. This one is about him personally. He made money from the scheme and he did not report his filings. That just goes back to what I was telling you earlier. The IRS don't care where the money is made, how the money is made. They don't care if it's legal or illegal. They want their cut and they want you to report it. He did not report it, so he got 2 counts of tax evasion. Count 60 was aggravated identity theft. Now, in the indictment, there were also some issues with him using client information without proper authorization. I didn't read into detail about that, but I did see where he forged someone's name. So I guess that's how he got the aggravated identity theft charge. I want to leave you with this message from the government because I have run out of time. The U.S. attorney said that Leon treated this pandemic like it was a personal cash machine. He said this is exactly what this looks like. But here's what you need to understand. This is not just about him. This is the government talking. This is about what's coming next. So, like I said, I feel like the government is making example out of these people because all of the new divisions that they've created for fraud, this is just the beginning of it. And like, I hate to see what's coming. I really hate to see what's coming. So what that really means is ERC cases are being looked at criminally. Prepares are being targeted first. Volume fraud is getting tracked faster. Mhm. And if your file doesn't have documentation, then you are exposed. So yesterday I did a video and I talked about the new fraud division that the Department of Justice have launched. The government now have a COVID fraud strikes force. They have a national fraud enforcement division, and they have data systems that are tracking patterns across filings fast. That's that's AI. AI. So what used to fly under the radar in the past with the IRS antique systems, the government is saying, try this shit. Try that shit now. That's what the government is saying. Try it now. They are saying that they have top of the line systems in place ready to tackle all this fraud. Um, the IRS will audit you. I mean, I got one more minute. The IRS will audit you. The Department of Justice will prosecute you. And once you cross that line, you are no longer negotiating numbers, my friend. You are defending your freedom. And trust me when I say this, none of this is worth your freedom, because at the end of the day, even if you made $100 million, you won't be out to enjoy it. And you got to pay it back. So that means you're going to be paying restitution for the rest of your life. Make it make sense. I can't make sense of any of it at all. For a few years, you live good, you able to buy what you want, go where you want, to find something legal to do, please. All this time that these scammers put into building all these different tax scams and frauds and healthcare fraud, all the time and energy that you all put into that, you can put that into something legal and make probably not as much money and as fast, but you don't need all that money. Like, what you gonna do with it? Okay, you got $1 million, not with it. If you are a person that's chasing money, you'll never be satisfied. And I was just having this conversation with a friend the other day. Like, it's not, money is important because I have real bills, but I'm not a paper chaser. I don't chase money, because at the end of the day, when you are on your dying deathbed, none of that shit matters at all. So I'm gonna leave you all with that. If you know somebody that is under audit for ERC, also if you are a tax preparer and you don't know how to work audit cases, you need to be in the war room. This Friday, we are doing our final briefing for the IRS War Room. If you have not submitted your application to be considered, you need to submit that application today. Today is the last day that we are going to accept applications, and I'll let you all know if I'll still be able to do the briefing tomorrow, but I might have to do it on Saturday because I can't even do it next week, because next week is a travel week for me. But I will keep you all posted. So if you've already submitted your application for the War Room and you have not heard from our team yet, it's not because you wasn't selected. Could be, but we haven't reached out to our final round of people yet, because I need to have my definite date, and I won't know that until this afternoon. So we'll start mailing out our selections for the briefings after this afternoon. All right, you all have an amazing day. Glad I was able to jump on and chat with you all this morning. I got a busy day. So I will talk to you all soon. Peace.